Hello and welcome to the show. We're back at the top of Mount Chiliad for some more downhill chaos on GTA 5 because there is a monster truck. This has to be driven down the mountain. Yeah, I didn't expect there to be another update so soon, and I've got a huge, great big monster truck. So what could possibly go wrong with trying to drive this? It barely fits in the starting area. Look at the size of the blooming thing. It's got four-wheel steering, much power as you would imagine. Pretty quick on the acceleration, not so good on the top speed. Yeah, I didn't know what to expect really from this vehicle. Yes, this is going to be very good off-road. It is a blooming monster truck. What do you expect from it? But it is absolutely humongous, and at places it barely fits on the track. So a tiny mistake, a tiny misplacement of the truck, such as there, I was just a tiny bit too much to the right as I went into that corner, and I dipped one of the very, very large wheels over the edge of the course, and as a rock slides down to join me, that was all it takes. It's so easy to make mistakes with this monster truck. You are just millimeters out of place and you will have a problem because this fills the entire track. I think there are a couple of places where it almost doesn't fit on the course, which means if you are slightly out of position, you're going to be dipping wheels over the edge of the mountain, and that's going to throw you off course. I ended up spinning it, tried to save it, and then managed to roll it. So yeah, that was clever of me. On that one. Now you will notice the time of day does slightly change, and the driver of the vehicles change from Franklin to Michael because my Xbox got very unhappy. I'm not sure if anybody else has this problem, but whenever I tried to load up a game with me in the monster truck, like a save file with me in the monster truck, the game just froze on loading and I had to reboot my Xbox. So I ended up having to keep dashboarding it after every run and then reloading the game. The reason I changed time of day is because I was trying to get it to work with changing save files, and I don't think I ended up sending saves to the cloud and stuff. But yeah, that's why it's a changed time of day. The hairpin was another problem, almost as much of a problem as my Xbox was being with this one, because this is too big really for that kind of corner. While it does have the advantage of four-wheel steering, it is still a very narrow part of the track, and this is still a very big car. I proceeded to test the monster truck's off-roading ability by throwing it at a mountain, like the Icelandics do. Didn't quite make it. It got blooming close. I was amazed that thing kept going. It so nearly made it. I then proceeded to try a slightly different part of the course, and there we go. The monster truck made it up. Yeah, as you would imagine, very, very good off-road. I would say the best off-road vehicle there is in GTA 5, but then that's not really surprising. Coming up towards the hairpin again, that's not quite worked. We nearly made it. Now we're going backwards down a mountain. It's never good. The hairpin is particularly tricky with this. We've had other large vehicles struggle with that corner. It's not so much the length of this one, it's the width of the car. It's yeah, pretty ginormous. This was another bit of a problem area, that corner, just kind of getting the braking right for that. You sort of have a very, very fast approach, but you need an awful lot of braking to get into that corner. You need to slow it down quite a lot. It's deceptive. As the monster truck, when you get it wrong, you do this, and still it tumbles and spins. I was fighting all of the controls, trying to figure out how to get this thing to eventually stop going, or stop spinning, and then eventually come to a halt. Yeah, when it's spinning around that fast, the fact that you control the vehicles in the air is practically useless. There is bugger all you can do about it when you're flipping and spinning as quickly as that. Coming up towards the hairpin, and again, that's not quite gone to plan. It'd be quite cool if like the rock face there kind of curved all the way around. You could run the wall. It doesn't. It would be cool if you could. I tried it with the monster truck. It doesn't work. Yeah, the hairpin was a nightmare. I then also managed to get it out of shape over another jump. If you land all of the jumps absolutely fine, of course, you're in a monster truck. The suspension will deal with it. But when you're taking the jumps at such funny angles, not a good idea. As I said, absolutely no room for error with this. There really isn't. Hairpin again. Have a guess what might happen. Yeah, that's just just understeered a tiny bit wide. Yeah, and then there's a bit of an explosion as well, just to finish it off. Yeah, when you put one of these big wheels over the edge, it is very easy for the whole thing to get dragged over and to fall off. And another first section, just dipped a wheel slightly too far to the right. This time, started going off down the mountain, managed to get the vehicle under control, and just about spun around, and then proceeded to try climb back up again. The camera doesn't quite do this justice, just how steep this section is. It never quite does on the downhill chaos course, or from sort of this view behind the vehicle. This is ridiculous. The monster truck is even vaguely getting up here. It very nearly made it. Now, if I'd turned left here, I didn't realise the rocks were quite as bumpy in front of me as they were. If I'd turned left a tiny bit sooner, maybe the truck would have done it. Then I tried to get to that sort of section, and then we just ended up spinning the wheels. I couldn't quite do it. But yeah, as far as mountain climbing goes, the monster truck is probably the best vehicle in GTA 5. It really is. But as far as the downhill chaos course goes, it is a bit of a pain, and pretty much all of that just comes from its size. As you could imagine, we've seen this course before. It is very narrow in places, especially this opening section here. The truck barely fits through this bit. It's you really have to be incredibly precise. The brakes are pretty good for what I presume is a very heavy vehicle. It does get stopped remarkably well, which is very useful. Again, on a course like this, you don't want to be having dodgy brakes with a vehicle that's less than ideally suited. Get around the hairpin this time, so nearly got it dragged over. Again, I reckon more than 50% of the tyre was hanging over the edge at that bit. So nearly went. Wouldn't have taken very much to have fallen off there. These next few corners, not really very much about them. And of course, the monster truck deals with all of the bumps. You barely even notice the bumps. The landing of these jump sections, absolutely fine. Provided you're not taking the jumps sort of sideways, and you don't have any problems on the landing. Well, none of the hidden bumps caused any problems for the monster truck. Occasionally, we're seeing some of the serious off-road vehicles have problems with bouncing because the suspension is too soft. This has pretty much got the perfect suspension for this. This final bit of the course is, again, barely wide enough for the monster truck to fit through around the second to last corner. There is a nasty bump in there somewhere that the monster truck just ignores, and it is across the line for the truck. This is a crazy contraption, as all monster trucks really are. Incredible off-road vehicle, probably the best there is. I don't think there's really much competition for a monster truck in GTA 5, but on this course, it is a little bit too big. So it was certainly was a challenge getting it down there. The other vehicle to come in the DLC is a motorbike called the Sovereign. I'm not entirely sure what sort of motorbike it is. Sorry, I know bugger all about bikes. So let me know what sort this is. Now, bikes are likely to be fast. On GTA 5, the bikes have an awful lot of grip. And on a course like that, it means you can take an awful lot of corner speed. So yeah, I was expecting the bike to be pretty damn fast. The top of our leaderboard here is dominated by bikes. And on this opening attempt, it was actually me overcorrecting on this that caused the problem that ended up sending me down the mountain. And yeah, Michael wasn't having the best of days. That is the real danger you get with the bikes. They have so much grip that it's very easy to overcorrect, and that is what causes you to go off the mountain. The other thing that it is easy to do, as you see here, is to get a little bit carried away with the speed. Yes, there are phenomenal brakes, there is a phenomenal amount of grip for turning the corners, but you do still need to slow down, and while in the pursuit of getting a good time, it is very easy to try and carry too much speed. Also, the bike, equally good at climbing up mountains, perhaps not quite as strong as the monster truck, but all of that grip does come in handy when it comes to trying to recover the bike. I may have started putting the brakes on there just as I hit the jump. Never a good thing. You need the wheels on the ground to make that one work as I go plummeting down the mountain. And it's an impressive cartwheel from Michael as he face plants a rock, and is fine. Gets up, you know, there's no bother, dusts himself down. Absolutely fine. Yeah, I'm not sure how he survived that one either, because that was a pretty nasty impact. The hairpin proved a little problematic for the bike as well. I'm not actually sure why that is, but this bike did not like the hairpin as much as some of the other vehicles I've driven down here. Again, ploughing into a rock. Perhaps that one a little bit more, well, survivable. I would say not quite as spectacular as the previous crash, but Michael's up and is around and is fine, and the bike is still relatively okay. I think all of the lights were still working on it. Yeah, the bikes are quite hard to drive because they are just so fast. In a way, it's kind of similar to the monster truck in that there is very little room for error, but for a very different reason. You have little room for error in a bike because it is so blooming fast down here. You have very little time to sort of correct it if you make a mistake. And yeah, it is very easy to make just, again, tiny bit out of position, and with the grip you'll end up bumping into something. I was surprised actually, I managed to bring that under control. Like, that is a very large bit of hill to fall off. You saw what happened to the monster truck when I got it wrong there, but I managed to get the bike stopped in time without hitting into anything, and Michael survived that one, which surprised me. Again, another incident of just carrying a little bit too much speed over that jump. An impressive backflip from Michael there. Not going to survive that one. No. That's sort of, I don't know what to call it. That's kind of small jump section. That's a really nasty corner. It's a deceptively nasty one. You carry too much speed into it. Very, very easy to do that. First section, again, got a little bit carried away and couldn't quite get it under control. I think whatever character I've been using has died the most times trying with this Sovereign. Like, normally you have a big crash, or you're in a car, so you're alright. But yeah, there were many deaths involved in this one. Because, yeah, the bike is very, very fast and has an awful lot of grip. If I'd done that with a car, that little out of position again, if I'd done that that bit there with a car, or the monster truck, or pretty much 95% of the vehicles, you would have failed, you would have fallen off, you would have had a crash. I go phenomenally quick through that section. I don't think I've ever taken that corner as fast. It does put me out of position for the hairpin, but that's just the grip you get with the bike. Again, you can't do that with any car in the game. You can't take that much speed, but you can with the motorbikes. Again, this section, not really a problem. It can carry a lot of speed through here, run a little bit wide, but the course is slightly banked there, so I can use that banking and keep the momentum up, and again can carry so much speed through here that you just can't do with a car. As we land the jump quite nicely, and then into the final section, not as scary on a bike, because, you know, it actually fits down here. I do get a bit of airtime that I didn't really want to, as we head into the second to last corner, can avoid the bump on the exit by running wide, and across the finish line for the Sovereign. Yeah, bikes, scary. Bikes are very scary trying to drive down this course for a very different reason to the monster truck. The amount of grip means that it's very easy to overcorrect and fall off the course. But it made it to the bottom, and it made it to the bottom blooming quickly. Bikes have always been quick down here because of that insane grip. And in general, bikes are pretty damn quick. So yeah, it is on to the times, and it's unsurprising that the Sovereign beats the monster truck. What surprised me is how quickly it did. A 112.4 puts it into second. That is 2 seconds quicker than a dirt bike and 4 seconds quicker than a racing bike. It is very nearly the fastest thing we've ever had down here. That is a mighty, mighty fast time. I wasn't expecting that to be the second quickest vehicle. I knew it would be quick, but I wasn't thinking that fast. The monster truck goes into the mid-table with a very, very crowded mid-table, I should point out, with a 128.6. Fractionally, and I mean literally, just tiny fractions ahead of the Sultan, and 0.1 of a second slower than the Glendale. The monster truck is just too big for the course. Well, very good off-road. The chiliad descent course is a little bit too narrow for it, but that was the challenge, and it did make it down there. But yeah, certainly tough getting it down that course. However, that is it for this video, guys. So thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.